Hey YouTube, Old Guy Jammin' here with a short video today regarding intonation. Now, intonation is when the frequency of your strings agree with the open tone, E, or in this case C, and the same frequency should be realized when you hold down at the octave, and with it on your tuner, you ought to get the same pitch. It ought to be pitch perfect in the open string and with it at the octave. Now, and then you have to adjust your bridge saddle accordingly. A nice way to remember this is if your intonation, that is if your octave note is sharp or above the center line, then your distance is too short. So if it's sharp, it's too short. If it's flat, if when you press at the octave and check for correct intonation, if it's below the center line or flat, then your distance is too long. Flat has an L in it, it's too long. Sharp has an S in it, it's too short. So if it's too short, you need to pull the saddle out. If it's too long, you need to push the saddle back. You do that until your frequency of the open string agrees with the frequency at the octave. When you do that, then all your chords should ring true, and you shouldn't have any funny tuning oscillations no matter where you play up on the neck, or at least up through the 12th fret or the octave. However, sometimes even the best intonated guitars will still have a hiccup here or there, and you find yourself playing the tune chase game where you're trying to tune it and you play a chord and ooh, it's a little flat, and it's usually in the thirds, and so you tighten up your string and then you go to play the open and it's a little sharp. So you just kind of run back and forth chasing your own tail with trying to find proper intonation. A good way to test this, you might think your guitar is intonated, and it might be. So check this out. You're going to play an A major right here at the 5th fret. And then you're going to play the D major. A major, D major. And then of course your other ones are going to sound good too. But oftentimes when you sound good here at the open chords, the cowboy chords, when you go up here to play this A major, right there, that note tends to quiver. And mine's right on. I like it. And then the D major is also still ringing true. And I can play some 7th chords up here. Beautiful. Sounds good no matter where I am, no matter what chord I'm playing. All right, and the key to this, or a tip, it's not a key, but the tip is the Feiton system. The Buzz, and you can look this up on YouTube. But Feiton is a German guitar builder, and he came up with, and it's a really scientific video, and the Feiton system has to do with a nut improvement or modification to the nut, where it shifts the nut up a little bit on our upper strings, and then you intonate your guitar just a little bit differently as well to account for some of those variations. Perhaps you've seen some of the guitars with the squiggly frets, almost like S frets. Okay, that's another way of dealing with this frequency anomaly that takes place as we play different chords up and down the neck. Now the Twisty fret guitars are pretty cool, but maintaining and refretting a guitar like that is going to be really pricey, as well as just buying one. So I have nutshelled for you the Feiton system, and it's easy enough to try. So I'd like you to give it a shot next time you intonate your guitar and see if it doesn't make your instrument a little better. I've gone with it, and at this point I like it. It, to me, made a subtle enough difference that it made my playing that much more enjoyable, which is what we're all after, right? Right. So, here it is. Take a picture of this, or write it down. Yeah. Okay, you're going to tune normally Even after dinner, George boils eggs, right? And then when you get to this side over here, when you go to intonate your G string, you're going to intonate it slightly sharp. You're going to intonate your B string slightly flat. And then, and by slightly, I mean, let's see, I have a Polytune tuner. He's just about knocked my camera over. I have a Polytune tuner that shows up with little red dots. As soon as I'm off center a little bit, I'll get one red dot or two red dots or three red dots. And that's a good, one red dot is a good indication of being just low enough, a little bit flat. One red dot on the other side is a good indication of it being just slightly sharp. If you're using a chromatic tuner with a needle, then you can just go, let the needle go slightly this way or slightly that way. There's no real exact place to put it, but if you're going to error, then error on the side of intonating your G string sharp and intonate your B string flat. All right, just slightly left or right of perfect. Then when you tune, and I don't even worry so much about this, I realized a lot of improvement just with the intonation part. But if you want to, according to Buzz, the next thing to do is to tune your G string a little flat and tune your B string a little bit sharp. Now my tuners are, well, they're pretty good, but I still just aim for dead center, dead nuts on the tuning because I found improvement enough with the intonation. Okay, so if you have further questions on it, give me a shout out. But it's super easy, super idea. Give it a shot, and you may like it. I really like it, and I'm intonating that way now, and it's made a difference, especially in this A major and D major. All right. Okay. If it's when you intonate, remember this too. When you intonate, if it's sharp, this is too short. If it's flat with the L, then this is too long, and move it accordingly. Intonation, super easy. Oh, and another thing, don't forget to get this nut nice and flat before you start goofing with intonation. If your nut's too high, when you make your chords down here, like an A chord or a D chord, if your nut's too high, you're going to be bending your strings out of tune right away. So before you do any of that stuff, general setup requires you to get this nut nice and low, and you're aiming for half the distance, half the thickness of the string in distance between the string and the fret. Nice and low, nice and low. If you want a target of what you're looking for, grab a capo, stick it on capo 2, maybe put your capo on the 2nd fret, and then run through some chords right here. And you see how easy it is to make chords with that capo on, and that's because the strings are so nice and tight down by those frets. And if you want that same kind of ease with chording on your guitar, then you're going to have to get your nut down nice and low, just like it would be if you had a capo on the 0 fret. So start there, take some time with, fold up a piece of sandpaper in half, file at an angle so the back of the nut is lower than the front of the nut. Get that nice and low first. Take your time. You don't want to get too low. It's better to err on the side of it being too high. Take your time. Get that nut set first, and then go to intonating and try the Buzz Feiton intonation system. All right? It works. Give it a shot. All right, Old Guy Jammin' is out. Have a good week.